I've been working at this since I was 9 years old. I gave up my teenage years, and it's something I'm glad I gave up. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't go to the house parties. I wasn't getting drunk in fields like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I was in the ring training, bro. I've been dedicated to this since I was even before my age was in double digits. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's me. Of course I'm at this point right now. I've worked for it.
Booty shaking on the west, who that?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Wrestlemaniac UK show. It is my pleasure today to be joined by Leon Slater, one of the fastest rising stars in the UK, out of the UK, one of our youngest and best British exports right now, tearing it up in TNA. How you doing, Leon Slater?
I'm perfect, bro. I'm very, very blessed today. And I'm glad to be sat here chatting with you, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm very, very good. I've been excited since, I got told I'm gonna get the opportunity to do this
Hell
and
yeah.
catch up with you because bro, the 6 months you have had, let alone it's been maybe just over a year, 18 months since you've been in TNA, but the last
Mhm.
6 months has been something. Can you like even just sum it up in some words about what you've been going through, excellent kind of last 6 months?
It's been a whirlwind, man. Like the last 6 months has moved so fast, and I feel like usually, or like at least so far in my life, like all of the coolest moments have been like spaced out by like 6 months, 9 months, like a year. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like every couple of weeks I'm getting some life-changing event. Whether it's like in January getting to team with the Hardys and that kind of that relationship and partnership starting. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the whole road to winning the X Division belt and winning the X Division belt, which is obviously another life-changing thing. And AJ Styles coming out afterward is obviously incredible. So yeah, man, the last 6 months is it's almost been a blur, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to take it in as much as I can, but the last 6 months has been crazy, man, and I'm looking forward to the next six.
Bro, you've hit all of the main points of, what we're going to kind of touch on today. And you have some great stuff on the horizon. You have something big this month we're going to talk about as well. But, you mentioned Slammiversary winning the X Division Championship. Am I right in saying you debuted in TNA in an X Division title match?
So it wasn't a title match. I think it was a scramble. It was like a number one contendership scramble. I think Jake something won.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like since day one in TNA, like the X division has always been my goal. And I think I'm a very good fit for the X. Well, obviously I'm a good fit because I'm the champion in it.
Of
But
course.
I think management kind of seen that I was a good fit for the X division since day one. So I've been very blessed with the opportunities that I've had to challenge multiple times, and obviously I finally made one of those opportunities count at Slammiversary.
You've been synonymous with this title since you arrived, clearly,
Hmm.
and it's been something on your bucket list, like you mentioned. You became the champion in excellent style. I can tell you, back home, we've all been screaming your name, but that was a special, special moment. And it wasn't just with that match; it's what happened afterwards. The
Yeah, man.
endorsement from none other, the phenomenal AJ Styles. I've seen you talk about it, and we are now what the best part of nearly 2 weeks on, or
Mhm.
since then. Like, have you kind of from the come down understood like the gravity of that situation, that kind of endorsement by AJ Styles?
For sure, man. And I think honestly, that is a lot of the times like when these like kind of monumental things happen, it doesn't really settle in until like a couple of weeks after, like you were saying. But I think like as soon as Let's Get Ready to Fly hit, I was like, oh my goodness, like I am this is gonna go down in history and I am in it right now. So it was a super
Yeah.
like weird and surreal moment, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, man, it really was like a monumental moment. And I think for the first time that for AJ to be returning to TNA, like the company that kind of he put in his back and built to where it is today, you know what I'm saying? The first time for him to come back in like over a decade, for him to share the ring with me and shake my hand and, kind of sing my praises after what was already kind of the best night of my life is something I'm never ever gonna forget. And I think like something that's even cooler about like the whole day of Slammiversary in general is like we have it kind of capsulated in a documentary that we just put out on TNA Plus called Fade to Black. So like this kind of bits and pieces of my day documented and how I was feeling and the aftermath of like the title match with Moose and AJ and the little conversation we had there. So to have that kind of immortalized and capsulized in this like spectacular 30-minute piece that we've put out is again something that's super, super cool for me.
I'm glad you mentioned Fade to Black. We're gonna talk about that. It's like, oh, it's like the first time TNA have kind of done something like this, first of its
Hmm.
kind, where there's those kind of secret mics and the kind of fly on the wall, like you mentioned, kind of following you around and kind of seeing that. I remember one of the things that really made me chuffed from that whole that day of Slammiversary, or I guess the footage that came out afterwards, was a backstage image of you and AJ Styles. You maybe sitting on some road cases,
Yeah.
and he was giving you some advice, I would assume. Like, can you share with us anything that he might have said with you in that moment?
Absolutely, man. So like we almost went into like two or three different conversations when we were sat there talking, you know what I mean? And again, like I'm super grateful for the time he gave me, not only in the ring but out of it too. And I think that just speaks to the type of guy that AJ is, you know what I'm saying? He's very humble, and he's for someone that could come in and kind of, you know, boss people around and have his way. And nobody would really complain, because at the end of the day, it's like it's AJ Styles, you know what I'm saying? But he is the opposite, man. He's an extremely cool guy. So when we were sat down, like we were talking about the match, and we got onto talking about wrestling a little bit, which is obviously super cool for me. But I think like the coolest thing was he gave me some like real life advice, you know what I mean? And some real like nuggets of knowledge about real life and just the wrestling business. And his big thing was, like, before he had came back, he'd obviously been speaking to people in our locker room that he was close with, and he'd heard like about the type of person that I was, you know what I'm saying? And like for me, the way that I've been raised, I'd kind of just try and carry that everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Like I try my best not to switch up and do things just for the sake of praise, you know what I'm saying? But for AJ to come back and say that he's heard from people in our locker room, kind of about the person that I am, was extremely cool for me. And his big point was, as long as I can kind of keep my feet on the ground, no matter how high my head goes into the clouds sometimes, you know what I'm saying? As long as those feet remain on the ground and you kind of stay true to who you are, that's really what's going to get you far. And I think that's a lesson that I've always kind of believed in, and I thought to be true, and that's always kind of the path that I'm striving to follow down. But having him say that to me just solidified it, and definitely put some validation on that, you know what I'm saying? So I was super grateful for the time he gave me afterwards.
Definitely. It's always high praise when people are speaking well of you when you're not present. So
Yeah,
like
man.
when someone like AJ Styles catches wind of it, it's crazy. And we've seen the likes of a Will Ospreay, another one of our real kind of homegrown high flyers right now, has also had high praise for you just to other people in the industry, still being the tender age of 20 years old. Is there an element of you feeling maybe under pressure when these guys are kind of telling you and others that this is the next guy, the youngest in charge is next up? Is there an element of, guys, calm down, I'm only 20, or do you embrace that pressure?
So there's kind of two sides to it, where like the Leon that's talking to you right now in it, there is definitely some pressure to it, because these are some of the biggest names. Like in the case of Will, he's arguably the greatest wrestler to ever come out of this country, right? And in the case of AJ, he's great. He's arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You know what I'm saying? So just those two guys alone singing my praises brings immense pressure to live up to that hype and prove them right. You know what I'm saying? But then there's the other side of me, the youngest in charge side, you know what I'm saying, where I go, nah, like, of course it's me. I've been working at this since I was 9 years old. I gave up my kind of my teenage years, and it's something I'm glad I gave up. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't go to the house parties. I wasn't getting drunk in fields like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I was in the ring training, bro. I've been dedicated to this since I was even before my age was in double digits, you know what I'm saying? So of course it's me. Of course I'm at this point right now. I've worked for it, and I like to think that I'm a very confident person, and I'm a big believer in like manifesting things and speaking things into existence. And I've been doing that since I was a child. So the youngest in charge side of me would tell you that like it's no pressure, and I feel like this is where I should be. But the Leon that's talking to you right now, there is most definitely some pressure for sure.
Of course, you mentioned the Hardy Boys as well, and it just works. You and them, it just works. It just looks like it's always meant to be, sort of thing.
Yes, sir.
Outside of them, who are supposed to have been, really influential since you arrived in TNA, who were some of the other kind of elder statesmen and women in TNA that have kind of guided you and given you really valuable pieces of advice?
So for me, my I suppose my big three of like veterans backstage is always Frankie Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, and Eric Young. Ever since I got there to TNA, those are kind of the three guys that I've always been to and asked for feedback, and they've always been gracious and given me the time and been honest with me on what I need to work on and what I can improve. So those three, as people that have not only kind of been and done everything in wrestling, whether it's WWE, whether it's Eddie's running Noah, or like all the history they have in TNA, you know what I'm saying? I think those three are people that I hold their opinion in very, very high regard, and they've been instrumental to my journey in TNA so far.
Yeah, some amazing names. And another name that has kind of come up on your radar recently, a certain Cedric Alexander, who's arrived in the company. You've already tangled with him once in a triple threat match. And now he wants a bit of you on his own. One-on-one, Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander at Emergence, 15th of August. That TNA X Division title is going to be on the line. What did you learn from your kind of first encounter with him that you're going to take into now this singles title defense you've got?
So I think for me, where like I've grown up watching Cedric, right? I think coming into this match in I think it was last week that we had an impact in that triple threat. I was prepared for the Cedric that I grew up watching. You know what I'm saying? The Cruiserweight Classic Cedric. Um, and that's like 10 years ago now, you know what I mean? So Cedric has changed a lot since then. He's put on a lot more size, he's a lot more powerful. So it did kind of throw me off in the triple threat, you know what I'm saying? So Emergence, I'm studying this new version of Cedric, and he calls himself prime Alexander nowadays, right? And my whole thing going into it was like, man, like I don't know if you're in your prime anymore, bro. Like I saw you and Kota Ibushi back in the day. That seemed like it was prime, and now it's kind of 10 years later, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying I underestimated Cedric, but he's definitely not what I thought he would be, you know what I'm saying? So I think Emergence is definitely gonna prove a challenge. But I feel like I'm on a roll right now, man. Like we've been saying, this past 6 months has been crazy, and I'm not ready for this roller coaster to be over quite yet. So Cedric's gonna have to take a backseat at Emergence for sure.
Look at that. The youngest in charge is telling the elders what's going to happen to them now. How
Yeah,
the
always,
tables have
bro.
turned.
Always.
Well, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. We are going to catch up soon and we're going to do this again. But
Yes, sir.
again, just to talk about Fade to Black and just everything that's going to be, what can the fans expect to see again within that 30-minute doc that TNA have put together?
I think they can expect the probably rawest and realest insight into how TNA works, you know what I'm saying? And like you said earlier, I think it's the first time that we've kind of done something like this. So if you're a diehard TNA fan, Fade to Black is most definitely for you.
Nice, nice. Well, Leon, you've got your own discount code, I guess, which gives fans 1 month free on TNA Plus. It is Leon YIC,
Yes, sir.
Leon YIC. Guys, sign up now. You can't miss this. This is going to be a great watch just to kind of see insight, especially to that big X Division win that we've spoken about. What's it looking like next, Leon? What's the kind of future hold? I know you want to do this whole fighting champion thing. I know there's forbidden doors open into NXT and you got
Yeah, yeah.
Cedric, next. Like what do you have your sights set on?
I have my sights set on the world, bro. I want to take the whole thing over. Um, but yeah, man, like 2025, there's endless possibilities within professional wrestling, you know, like, and I like to think of myself as a little bit of a record breaker, a moment maker, you know what I'm saying? I've made some history at Slammiversary and becoming the youngest X Division champion of all time. And I think I want to make some more. So whether that's being the longest X Division champion of all time or having the most defenses in one reign, um, I'm not sure what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be special.
Gonna be special. And Black Bound for Glory is just down the road as well. So got your sights
Yeah.
set on there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I've heard that like the pre-sale for Bound for Glory is like the biggest that TNA's ever done, which is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Slammiversary was an insanely special night, and I think we're gearing up for Bound for Glory to be even better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely excited to see how the road to BFG unfolds.
Leon, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for the discount code.
Yes,
And
sir.
guys, please make sure you sign up TNA Plus, use the discount code LEONYIC to get 1 month's free. Check out Fade to Black, the Slammiversary documentary, one of a kind. Hasn't happened before under the TNA umbrella. It's gonna be great. Thank you again, Leon. Like I said, we're gonna catch up soon, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it, man. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.